What's going on, guys? So I just wanted to do a quick video on my experience with the Flex-a-Lite fan kit for my first gen 4Runner. This is an electric fan kit that they offer from Flex-a-Lite that replaces your current clutch fan setup. It's supposed to be a quick and easy bolt-in job, and for the most part it was, but let's get on to that now. So I'm installing this kit with the thermostatic control. This temperature probe just pushes right into the radiator fins itself. You have your thick red battery positive, green AC control wire, so AC solenoid. So that just is spliced right into your AC clutch wire. Got your battery negative, and then you have your 12 volt power source key on for your thermostatic control. This is the Flex-a-Lite fan kit for the 22RE, which I thought, this would be good. Turnkey kit, somewhat. Bolts right in. It's got these mounts here. I guess they just kind of changed this for different radiator types to make it work with different makes and models. So far, issues I've seen with quality, they've got a welded nut on the inside of here, or like a threaded standoff type thing inside of this tubing here. It's like a square tubing that they just weld in place. Problem is that the welds on the inside get in the way of the travel of the not full threaded bolt. So it's got a little bit of a portion of the bolt that's not fully threaded. It kind of feels like it's not wanting to go in all the way. Needs a little bit of elbow grease, but it will go in. And then this connector type requires these little connections here. They didn't give me any shrink fit type, which I already had, and decided to use those against what they provided just because these are a little sturdier. Obviously kind of keeps moisture out of the backside of the connection. But all this for the control module is exposed circuitry on the inside of the engine bay. Don't see a real way for water to get out. I just don't like this being open to the elements, because of, if I'm washing the engine, or if you go through some water, that water's going to get in there. It's going to corrode that whole board, which, as far as I know, a couple of screws, that thing pops out, and this is a replaceable unit, which they do sell by itself online. It's kind of cool because it's like a all-in-one sort of setup. Potentiometer here. Problem is, I don't know if you guys can see it, but the flat of this is flush up against the flat of that plastic, and you really gotta freaking crank it over to get it away from that. It will turn, you gotta turn it kind of hard, but it just doesn't fit very well inside of there. Maybe something to do with the way they have the wires bunched up inside. I might be able to fix that, but it's not a huge deal. I don't know how much of this adjusting I'm going to be doing. This is kind of cool, so you don't have to tie into your actual cooling system. So it's just like a contact type thing. I don't know how well this type of, like a temperature probe, what do they call that? Thermocouple? Yeah, maybe like a thermocouple. Insert temperature probe through radiator core near upper inlet hose. Mush it into the radiator fins kind of near the inlet, and that should be enough to control it. But that is your temperature control when it turns on and off, or when it turns on rather. That you adjust based off of what you're reading on your actual temperature gauge, which I have one inside of the truck, like an actual one. So what I will do is I'll attach that knob there, let it idle, and once it gets just above what it normally runs at, what I've seen normally, which is around like 180 degrees Fahrenheit, that's when it should turn on. So should be able to get that adjusted correctly. Anyways, overall, it's kind of a nice setup. It's got a nice rubber seal here. It's got these different slots here, probably for different applications of different vehicles. But I bought this one from Summit Racing off of the same part number, specifically for Toyota 4x4, 1984 to 96, 4-cylinder and 6-cylinder. So in theory, should bolt right up using the factory hardware. This will omit the obvious clutch fan, but also the shroud. You no longer need the shroud. One thing I will say is this metal here is kind of sharp, and if you're going to be running the wires near it or around it, like I'm going to run mine kind of through here and kind of up where it needs to go underneath the radiator support, because I've got multiples that need to go to the battery. So the positive, the red wire, thick red wire, and the thick black wire need to go to the positive and negative terminals of the battery directly, so to get plenty of power.
Nice.
And the green wire needs to go to the AC clutch wire, and the thin red wire just needs to go to a 12 volt key on. For the key on, I'm planning on using one of these fuse tap adapters. These are kind of cool, so you don't have to modify existing wiring. These just sit right inside of a factory fuse holder. Somewhere around the battery, I'll need to install a fuse holder that comes with the kit. This is the fuse holder, so you pop this part, there's a fuse that goes inside of here that I'll need to install, and that's pretty much it. Let's talk about why I decided to do this. So I bought this kit, or this shroud here, from a Chinese company that made this remake of a fan shroud. It's super flimsy. It's not like the factory one that has a lot of glass fiber reinforcement in it. So when it came to me, the actual top part, the loop that goes around the top of the fan, was really flimsy, and it was actually dipped in just from being in the box, I guess. I tried to reshape it with a heat gun, didn't really have much luck with it, so I ended up drilling a couple of holes to pull it up into the intake piping here. That worked for a while until the bolts that go through here into the actual radiator. There's tabs that come off the radiator that are threaded that hold these M6 screws, and I couldn't tighten these down sufficiently because, one, it didn't reach. It wasn't wide enough to really get the fastener to really grab onto it. So as soon as you would tighten it down, it would just, these tabs would just run away and it wouldn't hold it. So it was going to come off anyway. So I just kind of, snugged them on there good enough. So I thought, didn't use Loctite, probably should have. Either way, I was planning on replacing the shroud because it was a piece of crap. The original one completely busted, and the replacement that I found that was probably closer to OEM through Yoda parts, hoping they don't use these because these are junk, was probably around 150 at the time. I think they're a little bit cheaper now. But when that failed, it dropped down onto my clutch fan, and then the clutch fan took a beating as well. The blades got kind of ate up, got plastic on them. I could probably clean those up, and I probably could have got an actual core support, or not a core support, but a radiator fan shroud. But decided to do an upgrade to the electric fan. I know it was a little bit more expensive, but I like the fact that it's electric. I know that it draws a little bit more power from the alternator, but ultimately it's not being driven by the engine. It is a little more efficient, especially at idle, be able to have more efficient air conditioning. So that's the plan, at least. So a little bit more horsepower, a little bit more torque, and a little bit, or a lot of bit, more AC performance from this. Just better cooling overall. So I'm excited to try it out, and I'll let you guys know exactly what kind of performance gains I get from it. So the controller side is going to go closest to your factory battery location. At least that's the way it shows in the diagram. Makes the most sense because all the wiring and all the devices are going to be going in that general area anyways. This temperature probe, I took one coil out and kind of laid it back here so that I can kind of fish it in to the radiator once I've got everything installed, I hope. Now, I don't know if I need to take the upper radiator hose off yet. I'm going to try and fish it down in through there at an angle. The regular fan studs, they will work. You don't need to get shorter studs or bolts. Just throw you a washer underneath there because there's a little bit of unthreaded portion that will be exposed on the factory stud. Throw your regular like stainless steel washer on there. That'll fit an M6 stud, and use your original nuts and just make sure you tighten those down evenly. Okay, yeah, so it says because the studs for the water pump are not completely threaded, you got to use 4 washers, and they do provide them, which I didn't see because they were kind of wrapped up in some bubble wrap, but these washers are kind of oversized for those studs, so they're going to be they were going to fit kind of crappy. So I'm glad I just used what I had, which was a much smaller ID, so it'll fit a lot better. Okay, so I was able to fish the new fan in starting at an angle, which you will find you'll get caught on this idler pulley stud that sticks out there. So you kind of have to mush this rubber seal that's on here to seal between the actual radiator and the fan shroud, to kind of squish it a little bit to get it past it. Once you get it basically that stud to the center hub of the fan, you can kind of get it the rest of the way in. Then you can start dropping it down. You're going to use the 2 centermost slots on both sides, so not the outer ones, just the center ones. And it does help, and you don't have to. You can use the factory hardware, but I had some longer stainless steel bolts, M6 bolts from a jet ski project that I had. That worked out a lot better, especially with how thick that seal is. It's kind of hard to get those bolts started. So if you find that it's kind of hard to get those bolts started, especially if you're going to be taking this off for maintenance and whatnot, because there is a limited amount of space to do anything in here. Anytime you go to do maintenance on this front drive setup here, you're going to have to pull this guy out. So having some longer bolts, those are probably, say from the inside of that, maybe 1 1/8 1.25 long. I don't know what that works out to be, probably like 30 millimeter long M6 hex bolts, because at least with this, it's a lot easier to install this whole shroud fan combination than it is the original shroud, because you have a lot more room. So I was able to get down in here with the electric ratchet driver, and once you get everything tightened down, you got plenty of room. Not worried about the fan hitting anything up front. Wiring at first was very, very close to the clutch pulley. Once you tighten everything down, again, those 2 centermost slots, once you get those screws tightened down, it pulls it away. I got probably 3/4 of an inch of clearance, so pretty much the fan, the outside ring of the fan would hit that pulley before those wires ever would. But they are close, and if that bothers you, then that's something to think about. I had some really long shrink wrap, so I electrical taped the first portion of it thinking I didn't have any of this, and then lo and behold, sitting there right in front of my face, there it was. So I pretty much brought it down as low as I could get it, where I could safely get a torch or a lighter, which is, you know, closer up here to the top, but that's the portion you're going to see anyways. So with that kind of tucked underneath here and going around the battery, it'll look a little bit more professional, and that's the goal. All right, so everything's installed. We'll say the temperature probe goes all the way through, passes all the way through. You hear it running now. And you put this rubber cap on the end, and that's what's supposed to keep it from sliding back through that way. So if you heard me earlier, I did end up putting a zip tie on the rubber cap for the actual temperature probe. Just some added security. I know the rubber is supposed to keep it from sliding out, but you know, rubber can break down over time, and I don't want that temperature probe to come out and it not read, or come out and get wrapped up and destroyed and basically take out my whole radiator fan on a road trip or something. So got that taken care of. Overall, pretty happy with it. Installation wasn't too bad. It's relatively quiet when it's running, and when it's not running, it's even quieter. Cooling of the AC seems to be quite a bit better, but I'll know for sure tomorrow, and I'll give you guys an update. I just wanted to touch real quick on the electrical portion of this Flex-a-Lite fan installation. Obviously, I ran power straight to the positive, ground straight to the negative as they requested, but I needed a 12 volt key on power for the thermostatic switch. So I did this setup here. It's like a little extension, so it basically wraps around the prong of the fuse, comes up and around and sticks out of the top. Now I got the wrong size. These are for minis. I don't know what size I should have got. I guess it's just a standard fuse extension, but this is what they had. Luckily these are just like a soft brass and you can bend them pretty easy. So I just straighten it out right here where it kind of turns over at the top before the fat part of the terminal where you plug up a actual female spade connector. And that's where I connected it at, right here on the 7.5 charging. And I ran the wire down through the bottom, through the inside of this, down through, and it goes obviously around and to the fan. That way it kind of tucks it in nice and neat. I don't have it wire kind of forcing its way through the cover itself and kind of bowing it out. Thought that was a nice clean touch there. You won't even be able to see that at all. So I'll put these in the description below. Again, these aren't a direct fit, so you are going to kind of finesse them a little bit. You may be able to go straight to the manufacturer of these and find the correct size, but that's what I got. I have 100 of them, and I'm probably going to use maybe 3 in my whole life. So if any of my friends ever need any, they know where to get them. One other thing I wanted to talk about was the charging portion of this, and a lot of my research in the past has said, oh, don't go electric, don't do electric fans, for 2 reasons. One of the main reasons was the alternator is not up to the task, and so far I've had no issues with it. But what I will say is when the fan is running, obviously, with the AC system, if you're running AC, I've got an R134 conversion on this 22RE. That voltage drops down pretty low. That can be solved by doing 2 things. One, make sure your alternator and water pump belt is properly tensioned, which it is a huge pain in the ass. But 2, make sure your AC idle up adjustment is adjusted correctly. Now, in my mind, I think counterclockwise, you open it up, it allows more air in. I might be wrong, but if you have that adjusted all the way and you're still not getting enough air, then you may need to adjust your actual idle screw and or idle cable. Don't adjust that too far or to interfere with your throttle position sensor. So, a few things that you can look at. I know I need to tighten up my belt a little bit. It's kind of a common problem with these, but I have made a little bit of probably like a half turn to this, and we'll see how it does. Basically, when you load the engine up, it needs a little bit more air when that AC is turned on. Solenoid over there is activated. That's on top of the valve cover to allow some air into the manifold to bypass basically the throttle body and give you a little bit more air and a little bit more idle. It just bumps it up and keeps the voltage up. So as long as the idle doesn't drop too low when you're running AC, you should stay around 13 to 13.4. I've been running around 13.4 volts, and that's where it should be. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you later.